and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today's video is going to be a bit of a vlog, mostly because as I'm starting to film this, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing. I've got some ideas. Actually, I've got lots of ideas. But as anybody who makes anything will know, you get these times when there's lots of ideas, but it's really, really difficult to settle on one thing. I'm having one of those times. At the moment, my desk outside of the area where I'm filming has got paint, little bits and pieces from all kinds of previous projects, a couple of things that need attention that are not miniature related, but they end up on my desk anyway. I've got bits of 1/48 scale furniture. They are some bits I've made for the current project, some bits I need to make for the current project, and at least one thing that is a sort of an idea that I'm mulling over. So maybe we'll start with that and then we'll see where it goes. Now, I am very aware that with the state of my doll's house, I can't do everything that I want to do. And one of the things I like to do is I do like to decorate for the various times of the year. And I'm struggling because, as I think I've mentioned in a previous video, I haven't got what I'll call a suitable room. Now, I think I'm going to work on the dining room next, which itself gives me some more problems because I know what I want to do, but the tools that I need are not at home. So I've got to fix that one. So, and this is a big so, I'm toying with the idea of making some kind of miniature scene that I can decorate for the seasons, for the holidays, that I can use to display any seasonal pieces, just any decor pieces that I make really, that don't really fit into my doll's house, but that I want to show off. And also it will mean that I can show the pieces off to you a lot easier, because it's really, really nice when you can actually show pieces in situ in a room setting. Now obviously a 1/12 scale room box can get quite big. I fully appreciate this, and I haven't really got room for a room box. So I've been looking around for something that I can use as a scene, part scene. I've seen people do some wonderful things with deep photo frames, and I do have a box that I did consider making this with. It's actually, I suppose it could be used as a jewellery box. It's got a glass lid and it's got a tray that was removable, and I thought if I remove the tray I can possibly use the box as a frame to display my little pieces, but it's not quite deep enough. While I was sorting out the craft room, however, I found this. This is a box, and it's a box from a company called Craftbox. And what they used to do is they used to sell a box of materials, and they had some really, really interesting, great things. And what I'm wondering is whether I can turn this quite pretty box into a sort of miniature scene. It's got a reasonable amount of depth, so I'd be able to put various pieces of furniture in, and it shuts. It's got nice magnetic clasps that it fits nice and securely, so it would actually keep the things inside quite safe. Obviously, I need to do something with the inside because it's logoed up. But I think I could make it and it could sit on a shelf. It'd sit on my bookshelf, I think, on end, quite happily. So what I think I'm going to do, this is going to be my first thing for today, is I'm going to check the sizes of this. And I'm going to pull out some pieces of furniture and see how 12th scale furniture looks in the box, because that's going to be a big deciding factor, I think, in whether I go ahead with this. I have had the tape out and I've measured the size. Now the box is about 3 inches deep. Now I am aware that I would need to put in an actual flatter floor because this one is a little bit curved. It's a box, you know, it's had a reasonably difficult life. If I want it to open this way, if I wanted it to open that way, no, again, it's a little bit curved. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of work, probably with some foam board or something like that, just to give me a flatter base. The box is then about 7.5 inches high and about 6 inches across, which I think is a good size for me to do a little bit of a scene that I can work within. So that is a great starting point. I'm really pleased with that. The next thing, as I say, is pull out some furniture and see what I could or couldn't get in here. So I've been in the doll's house and I've pulled out a couple of pieces that I know I'm using in there. And one is this lovely chair. And if I put the chair in place, I can't put it on too much of an angle. I've got to put it against the back because it keeps moving. You can see it can fit. If I was to give this room a bit, you know, the right background, I could put the chair in there, put a table next to it. I could decorate it. Great. So yeah, a chair looks okay in there. I've also pulled out a wire shelf unit, just because it was a fairly reasonable size shelf unit, and again, that would work. I'm not looking to have something that looks like an actual room. It's got to be a bit of a scene, and I would like to be able to change it out. But if I want shelves in there, which would seem logical if I'm going to be decorating it with my little knickknacks and things, a shelf unit fits fine. I also pulled out from my stash, this is a kitchen island. Now, I think this is a bit pushing it as far as size is concerned, but I could use it. If I wanted to do a scene and I'd done some food or something, I could use this. Now, the kitchen table that I've got that I used elsewhere in my doll's house is a little bit wider. It doesn't sit quite properly, it sticks out a little bit. So if I wanted to do something sort of kitcheny, I could go with something like this, which, you know, it's great. And then the sort of final piece that I've pulled out is a dresser. This is a big piece. This well and truly fills the box. It doesn't leave much room for anything else, but it just shows how big a piece of furniture I can get in here. Yeah, I have to say, I think that maybe this is a little bit much in there. I think I would want maybe something a bit smaller and something next to it, just because that's what I'd like from a scene. But it does show me that if I wanted to work on a bigger piece, I could actually show it off in here. And I've got room to actually put some fake walls inside and it not be a problem, which is brilliant. Because as I say, I need to do something with the bottom, probably with the sides, because they've got these folded in bits. It makes sense. So I'm going to reduce the size probably by 1/2 inch on each side by the time I've fitted a fake box inside. What do you think? Good way to show off my little miniatures. At the moment, when I take my photos, I've got a box. And if I reach past the camera, I've got this box. This is where I take my photos, and it's got a bit dusty, it needs hoovering out. And it is literally a box that I have reinforced and lined with some black cardstock. And I've been using this for 2 years and it's starting to, yeah, I need something else. So I'm thinking maybe make a scene in here that will allow me to show my pieces off, take my photos, actually compose something a bit better than just putting a piece in a box. So that's something that I will be getting on with. I don't know if I'll be doing it today because I'm not sure how I want to decorate it. I'm not sure if I want to just do the box plain or wallpaper it. I really don't know. I think if I wallpaper it, I'm obviously going to limit myself. What I am considering is whether I can do something whereby I can change the back. So it's obviously a black backdrop because I do the front and the top maybe just plain. So it looks like a studio set. Food for thought. So that is definitely something that I want to look at because, well, it's something that I would find really useful, and it would mean I'd feel a bit happier about taking photographs of my minis. One of the other ideas I've got actually involves some furniture that I bought as damaged. Now, I bought these pieces, and I've got 2 of them, because they were a really good price. And I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel a little bit guilty about taking a good piece of furniture and transforming it. I love doing it. I love having something that's unique, but when a good piece of miniature furniture can cost reasonable money, I feel torn about whether I should alter it. Now, I've got a lot of pieces of furniture that I've had for many years, and I've been sorting them, and some of them I think I should sell because I'm just not going to use them. I've got no place for them, even if I was to make them over. But I bought these probably about 2 years ago now because I wanted something to play with. And I've got this bureau. It's one of these that folds out as like a writing desk. Now, my first complaint is that the hinge, which has come off, is incredibly large. It looks too out of scale. Now, when the piece is closed, maybe it does look quite so bad, but that hinge is pretty big. Now, the drawers come out, they're not very good. as one would expect from a piece like this. And it's actually got those, it's got two little pieces in there that I'm not sure where they're supposed to have been from. But it's also got the pull-out pieces that would have pulled out on the original to hold the fold-down part in place. One of the little drawers on the inside is missing and the other drawer is there, but again it's quite rough, and I only spent maybe a few pounds at the most on it, and I don't like the finish, but I thought I could do something with this, and I still do think I could do something with this. I'm thinking about taking the hinge off completely, actually gluing the desk fold down into place, maybe putting a fake hinge, because if it's going to be open, and then decorating the piece accordingly. I think it would look far better than that, and it could then be a feature piece. And I don't know, got my box. I'm going to stand the box up for the moment, put this in place, and doesn't quite fit in my box. I don't know if you can see that. That's against the back and it just sticks out a little bit, but I could possibly make it work as a display. I don't know. I might just stick it on the shelf on its own. I might make it, and I might even decide to make it and sell it, or try and sell it. I'm not sure. Well, that's one piece I've got. The other piece I've got is this, I don't know what you'd call it, bookcase maybe. It's got shelves inside. It's got two nice drawers. The drawers are much better constructed than on the other piece. It was, however, broken. One of the legs had broke, and one of the legs had broke before I bought it, and then two of the legs have broke since. Now, I've got all the legs. I'm not sure which one, that one goes there. And so I could glue them back into place. I'm not going to try and hold three legs on. And this would make a nice piece of furniture. And again, it's a piece that I could refinish and then fill, decorate as a particular piece. A couple of videos maybe. I think if it was given a darker finish, maybe even some different handles, because it's a nice shape of furniture. It's a nice size of furniture. It's just a bit tired and a bit, quite frankly, samey. Now, if you've looked around sites where they sell Doll's House furniture, you will understand what I say when it's a bit samey. There's a lot of Doll's House furniture out there, and it's all much of a muchness. It's all normally the sort of orangey brown, the inside of that. This is a bit more of a walnut finish, I think. Might actually have been a more expensive piece in the first place, I don't know. And it's nice, as I say, I quite like it. Although that door doesn't shut properly for some reason, but I think if I was going to make it, I would probably want to display it with the door open to sort of show what was inside. That's just me though. I like leaving doors open on things, opening drawers and leaving them so you can see what's inside. It's part of the fun. You wouldn't do it in your real house, but you can do it in miniature. It's particularly if it's a one-off piece that you're going to use as it is on its own. So This is something else I'm toying with, is doing some more renovation videos. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is this something you'd like to see? You know, this could be turned into, I don't know, anything. It could be a cabinet belonging to a collector of some description. It could be a witch's cabinet. The desk bureau could belong to a more traditional mad scientist and could have papers and maybe even body parts on it. I don't know. As I say, I've got lots of ideas, lots of things I want to do, and lots of ideas that don't fit in my doll's house. Because my doll's house, although it is a big house, I've got 10 rooms plus hallways, I don't want it to be completely random. I want there to be a story. And I keep making random things just because I can. And this is part of my issue. I'm trying to decide what to do for the channel, what videos to do. And I can do, if I do pieces like this, I can make them spooky, because I know that a lot of you like the spooky angle on things. If I'm just making things for the doll's house, I need to make things that actually in themselves are relatively normal, because it's how you dress things that makes it spooky. So I'm kind of torn. Tell me what you like seeing in the comments, and I'll definitely take it on board. I also have things that I want to revisit. This is one of them. This, which is my mermaid skeleton in a glass box, is a project that I made not long after I started the Gothic Unicorn page over on Facebook. Before I started the channel, and it was one of my first actual spooky miniatures. Now this is a metal charm that I painted, and then I made it a box, and I wanted it to look like one of those sort of old curiosity pieces. So I did the background myself, sort of hand painted, so it looks some, you know, quite old and everything. And then I made the box out of some wooden strips and some cardboard and some plastic packaging. However, as I say, I was still learning, and I tried gluing this with super glue because I didn't know what else to glue the plastic with, and it's gone all yeah. Now this does sort of have a charm, but it does also come loose on the edges and on the corners, and so I think I need to maybe reassess this. I certainly want to use this in my doll's house. I think it's going to feature in my library at some point. I don't see why not. I still like it. I like the idea. I just need to maybe improve the cabinet, the display case. Although the more I look at it, aside from the fact that the glue looks kind of rough on the wooden bits, I do like the where it's gone sort of frosted looking. It looks old. That wasn't deliberate. But that's something else I've got projects like this. I've got lots of little things, little ideas that I made in my first Witch's Cottage that I want to go back and look at again. The Witch's Cottage being the first project that I actually did featured on YouTube. I like a lot of it, some of it not so much. I just run out of time like everybody else, and I've got better. I did that project 2.5 years ago, and I've definitely come on since then. So anybody who is starting making miniatures, you will improve. You will, even if you think, I'm never going to get the hang of this, you will get the hang of things. And you will want to go back to some of those projects that you did in the first place, the first things that you tried making on your own, and improve them. It's normal. It really is. It happens to everyone. When I started this video, it really wasn't my intention to talk at you, but it just sort of developed as I started expressing my ideas. But I think I've done enough talking, and I'm going to do a little make because, well, if you've sat through it this long, you deserve a little bit of a make. As you might have gathered, I've actually been tidying, sorting the craft room, and I found these beads. They are quite boring wooden beads, and I actually have them in uncoloured as well, like a natural colour. And I like using them for vases. They're great for a quick vase because you can stick them down, put something in the top, and you've got a really easy little piece. One like this, not so much a vase, maybe a plant pot with some bits of green sticking out of it, it would look great. And I found, put those out of the way, one like this, but it was pink. And I was looking at it like this, and it was giving me definite brain vibes. So I thought, I wonder if I can turn a wooden bead into a brain. The first thing I did was take my craft knife and see if I could cut it in half, as you do. And apart from the fact I can't pick it up because it's quite shiny, that worked quite well. I only actually had to cut one side, the other side split, which, brilliant. So obviously now I've got potentially 2 brains. I know it's not really a brain, but I figure if I put some stuff around it to make it look like it's on a dish, it could work. So I need a dish, and I've made a dish. This is really simple. It's a piece of a foil baking tray, the disposable ones that sometimes you get food in, or as in the case of the one that I have used for a couple of things now, you can buy them. And I punched it out with my 1-inch circle punch. And what I've done is I've gone around the edge with a ball tool, quite a large ball tool. And then I've folded the edge up to make it look more like a tray than just a flat piece. And it actually works brilliantly. And I think that I'll stick that on there and then maybe add some blood over the top. From a distance, I can make it look like a brain. So I'm actually going to start with some glue, a good amount of glue. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the glue into the gap where the hole of the bead was. because I don't want this fully open on my plate, dish, whatever you want to call it. So if I put some on now, a reasonably thick layer, it will hopefully help me fill it in a short while. And actually I think I'm going to find something to fill that with, but I'm going to leave the glue there and let that go tacky, and I'm going to find some tissue or something and just sort of fill it up a bit so that I can make it look a bit more brain-like. Now all I did is I rolled up some tissue and I pushed it into the cavity, and then I tore off the bits at the end and tucked it all back in. So I've now got a sort of solid shape that I can stick on to my dish. Now once you've stuck it on, what you do next depends upon your sort of purposes. Now I'm thinking of it that way because it does look a bit more like a brain, and what I'm thinking is I'm going to make this look like a special dish. So I'm going to put some stuff around it and make a bit of sauce to go over the top so that it looks like a dish. Now if you wanted it to look like a specimen, obviously you wouldn't want to put anything that's supposed to resemble food around it, but yeah, I'm slightly weird like this, and it would definitely suit the idea of maybe it's a meatloaf that's been made to sort of resemble brain. Yeah, could do. I'm not saying that they're actually serving up a brain on a platter, but it'll look good nonetheless. To present my meatloaf in a better fashion, I am using a little bit of dried moss. This is moss that's sold for craft purposes, and all I'm doing is I am applying glue around the outside of the bead and the metal tray, and then I'm going back round with some of the moss to fill it all in. I've got quite a big bit there which I can obviously tear apart into more usable, manageable chunks, and I'm just putting them in and pushing them down into the glue, and in this way I can get quite a good finish. Now this moss is coloured, so all I've done is I've gone through and I've picked out the colours that I want. You get it more natural and it's more earthy, but this has got some really bright bits in which I didn't really want, so it is just a case of, hopefully you can see this, hopefully I'm not pulling it too far away from the camera, and you can just fold it over on itself and back into the glue. And obviously once I've finished it, it's going to look hopefully a bit more appetizing. The greens are all on the tray now, and yeah, it still looks a bit weird. So to finish it off, I have mixed some matte Mod Podge with a little bit of dark red acrylic paint. Now it won't dry this dark, it won't stay this dark, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of blop it on the top with my cocktail stick and try and convince it to make it look like it's running off. Now this could be a tomato sauce, something along those lines. you can decide for yourself. And if I sort of spread it out a bit, it will actually look like it's running away. Now, obviously, I need to let this dry. And it should dry a lot clearer. I didn't add much in the way of paint to the Mod Podge, and it'll look more like a sauce, I hope. So I'm going to leave this to dry, and I will pop back shortly to show you the final result. I think the Mod Podge still needs to dry a little more, but I'm not about to stick my finger in it to find out, because I think it actually looks pretty good. And I think my brain meatloaf, however I decide to sell it, has come out quite satisfactory for a little quick make. Didn't really know what make I was going to do in this. I had ideas, but I got carried away with the talking, as I said, and if you stuck with me all the way through, well done. I will be working on some of the ideas that I've mentioned in this video over the coming weeks and months, and lots more besides, because as I say, there's lots going around in my head, and hopefully once I can get the craft room back into some kind of order, I can get back being really, really productive. So yeah, brains from a bead. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I think it works. If you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, please like, comment and subscribe. They all help my channel. Maybe even ring the notification bell if you want to know when I put up a new video. I put up a video most weeks, usually on a Friday, but real life gets in the way, so I never promise anything. But until next time, bye.